Shalom, shalom, Israel. This is your brother Araya. It is 5:50 or 6 in the morning. I just got finished saying my morning prayers or whatnot, so we're going to come and do our Shabbat teachings. And I'm going to go ahead and say our prayers real quick and our Shema, and we'll go ahead and get into today's Parsha. Today's Parsha is Parsha 44, Debarim. It'll be Debarim, chapters 1, verses 1 through chapter 3, verses 22, and the half Torah will be Yeshayahu, chapter 1, verses 1 through 27. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and say our Shema and our prayers, and then we'll get into it. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Maltu Le'olam Va'et. V'ahavta et Hashem Elahaka Busko Lafka Uvko Nafska Uvko Modekha. V'hayuha Debarim Hale Asher Anoki Mizokha Hayam Alaveka. Hear, O Israel, the Most High, our Supreme One, the Most High is Echad, one. Benevolent is the name of his esteemed kingdom forever and ever. And you shall love he that causes to exist, the Most High, your power, with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength. And these words that I command you today shall be in your heart. All right. Devarim, and you see is, as you see, Vahayu ha Devarim, and these words. And that will be the Parsha of today. Words, Devarim, Devarim. Okay. And we will go say our petitions for repentance and for forgiveness and for healing. All right, so we will start now. Bring us back, our Father, to your Torah, and bring us near, our Sovereign, to your service, and influence us to return in complete repentance before you. Benevolent are you, he that causes to exist, who desires repentance. Forgive us, our Father, for we have transgressed. Pardon us, our Sovereign, for we have willfully transgressed. For a partner and forgiver are you. Benevolent are you, he that causes to exist, the gracious one who abundantly forgives. Heal us, he that causes to exist, then we will be healed. Save us, then we will be saved. For the one we praise is you. Bring healing that is complete for all our ailments. For our power and sovereign healer is who is faithful and compassionate are you. Benevolent are you, he that causes to exist, who heals the sick of his people, Israel. Shalom, abundantly upon Israel, your people, established forever. For it is you who are sovereign, master of all shalom. May it be good in your eyes to increase your people, Israel, at every time and every hour with your shalom. Baruch Hashem. All right. So we will get into Devarim, chapter 1, all the way through chapter 3, verse 22. And then we'll go to Yeshayahu, chapter 1, verses 1 through 27. Okay. Get my bookmark real quick for Yeshayahu. And we are here for Isaiah chapter 1, verses 27. But we're going to start off and reading the Torah Parsha, which is Deuteronomy chapters 1 through chapters 3 through 22. Okay. These be the words, these be the Debarim, the words, which Moses spoke to all Israel on this side of the Jordan, in the wilderness, in the plain over against the sea of reeds, between Paran and Tophel and Laban, and Hazeroth and Dezab. There are 11 days' journey from Horeb by the way of Mount Seir to Kadesh Barnea. And it came to pass in the 40th year, in the 11th month, on the first day of the month, that Moses spoke to the children of Israel according to all that he that causes to exist had given him in commandment to them. Right? And after he had slain Sihon in the sovereign of the Amorite, which dwelt in Heshbon, and Og, the sovereign of Bashan, which dwelt in Ashtaroth and Edrei. Right? So these were mighty kings, right? Mighty kings and important people. Mighty kings of the the Canaanites. Okay? They were mighty people, mighty and important people. That's why it mentions them. Verse 5. On this side of the Jordan, in the land of Moab, began Moses to declare this Torah, saying, He that causes to resist our power spoke to us in Horeb, saying, You have dwelt long enough in this mount. So, on this side of Jordan, in the land of Moab, is when Moses began to declare the Torah. So, this is when Moses began to discuss and to give the children of Israel the 613 laws. Right? So, he delivered God's voice and he don't fear. So, he that caused us to resist our power spoke to us in Horeb, saying, You have dwelt long enough in this mount. Turn and set on your journey, and go to the mount of the Amorites, and to all the places near thereunto in the plain, in the hills, and in the vale, and in the south, and by the seaside, to the land of the Canaani, and to Lebanon, to the great river, the river Pharat, which is Euphrates. Behold, I have set the land before you. Go in and possess the land, which he that causes to resist swore to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give to them and to their seed after them. And I spoke to you at that time, saying, I am not able to sustain you by myself. He that causes to resist your power has multiplied you, and behold, you are this day as the stars of Shemaim for multitude. Right? So Moses telling them that the Most High multiplied them, and now they are like the stars of the heavens, right? The stars in the sky, right? And if you go to our video to proof that every Israelite had multiple wives, that is how the Most High multiplied them as the stars of heaven, okay? We broke that down. We did the math, and we proved that in that video. So go check that video out, right? Verse 11. He that causes to resist of your fathers make you 1,000 times so many more as you are, and increase you as he has promised you. Right? Now, if we multiply this literal number into 4 million people, including men, women, and children that came out of Egypt, we arrive at a figure of 4 billion. We do know that the Most High word is true, and many people in the world today may carry Hebrew blood without knowing it. Right? Because you cannot count the number of stars. There's billions of stars. Now, verse 12. How can I myself alone bear your pressure and your burden and your strife? Take your wise men and with understanding and knowing among your tribes, and I will make them rulers over you. Right? And you can see that in Psalms 143, and in Proverbs 1:7, and Proverbs 1:8. Right, where it also speaks about that the wise men. In fact, let's go look at it real quick. Go to Psalms 147. I mean 143. I'm sorry, Psalms 143. Right, wise men is what does David say here? It says, "Hear my prayer, O Lord. Give ear to my supplications. To thy faithfulness, answer me in thy righteousness. And enter not into judgment with thy servant, for in thy sight shall no man living be justified. For the enemy hath persecuted my soul, he hath smitten my life down to the ground, and he hath made me to dwell in darkness as those that have been long dead. Therefore is my spirit overwhelmed within me, my heart within me desolate. I remember the days of old, I meditate on all thy works, I muse on the works of thy hands. I stretch forth my hands unto thee. My soul thirsteth after thee as a thirsty land. Selah. Hear me speedily, O Lord. My spirit faileth. Hide not thy face from me, lest I be like unto them that go down into the pit. Cause me to hear thy loving kindness in the morning, for in thee do I trust. Cause me to know thy way wherein I should walk, for I lift up my soul unto thee. Deliver me, O Lord, from thy enemies. I flee unto thee to hide me. Teach me to do thy will, for thou art my God. Thy spirit is good. Lead me unto the land of uprightness. Quicken me, O Lord, for thy name's sake, for thy righteousness' sake. Bring my soul out of trouble. And of thy mercy cut off thy enemies, and destroy all of them that afflict my soul. For I am thy servant. Right? Now Proverbs 1:7-8. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. Right? So, back to Deuteronomy chapter 1, and verse 14, verse 13. Right? Take you wise men in understanding and known among your tribes, and I will make them rulers over you. Right? So that's why we went to Psalms 143, Proverbs 1 and 7 and 1 and 8 to see what a wise man was and how did they obtain it. Now, verse 14. And you answered me and said, the thing which you have spoken is good for us to do. So I took the chief of your tribes, wise men and known, and made them heads over you, captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains over fifties, and captains over tens, and officers among your tribes. Right? So those men were wise men. Why? Because they had the understanding of the Most High, as we saw in Proverbs 1, 7, and 8, and they had the fear of the Most High. And they ran to the Most High as a refuge, like King David said in Psalms 143. That's why they were chosen. And I charged your judges at that time, saying, hear the causes between your brethren, and judge with right ruling between every man and his brother, and the foreigner that is with him. So I want to talk about this right here, verse 16, and the foreigner that is with him, and the stranger and the foreigner that is with him, right? You have to use Torah, right? Okay, so when it comes to the foreigner, we have to welcome the foreigner. We have to understand their culture, but not participate in their culture. All right, we don't put them down for what they're doing. We don't mistreat them. Why? Because Israel once was an idolater too. And we were unjudged, or we were judged, right? The Most High had mercy on us, right? And you have to remember, the strangers, the goyim, they had no Torah, so they're coming to us to learn Torah. They're learning Torah and learning the Most High's ways from us. So you're not supposed to put them down, be mean to them, or deny them, okay? Who are us? Who are we to deny them to come into the fold of the Most High? The Most High said all souls are His, so all souls are His. Can't deny somebody else learning the Torah just because they are a goyim or a Gentile or a heathen or a Kanani. You cannot deny them. The Most High brought them there and brought them to you to learn the Torah, for you to teach them His ways. And if they love the Most High and genuinely follow His ways, after you quiz them, then who are you to not allow them to learn about He that causes to exist? All right, you'll fool around and put a curse on yourself. Okay, that's verse 16. Verse 17. You shall not know partiality for persons in judgment, but you shall hear the small as well as the great. You shall not be intimidated by the face of the man, for the judgment belongs to Elohim. And if it is too difficult a case, then bring it to me, and I will hear it. So this is right here. So the judges judged the case, right? And when the judges came up with it, the Most High was with them in the spirit, and that ruling came from the Most High. Okay, that's why when we have in the book of Judges, we have Deborah. It says that she judged Israel, which doesn't mean that she ruled. She judged Israel because the Most High her judgment was coming from the Most High. And Moses is telling them here that if the judgment for the judges is too difficult for them to hear, then they have to bring it to the Kohen, the high priest. The high priest has a direct line to the Most High, and what the high priest says is final law. Okay, because it comes from the decrees comes from the Most High, He that causes to exist Himself, because He is the one that goes into the appointed to the meetings, and He is the one that does the things, the holy things, and comes near to the Most High. Okay, so if it's too hard for them or too difficult for them to hear, they take it to the Kohen, which is the high priest. Verse 18. And I commanded you at that time all the things which you should do. Right? And when we departed from Horeb, we went through all that exceedingly dangerous wilderness, which you saw by the way of the mountain of the Amori, as He that causes to resist your power commanded us. And we came to Kadesh Barnea, and I said to you, you have come into the mountain of the Amori, which He that causes to resist your power will give to us. Behold, He that causes to exist your power has laid the land before you. Go up and possess it, as he that causes to exist, Elohim of your fathers, has said to you. Do not be afraid, neither be discouraged. And you came down to me, every one of you, and you came near to me, every one of you, and said, we will send men before us, and they shall spy out the land, and bring us a report by what way we should go in, and into what cities we shall come. And the saying pleased me well, and I took 12 men of you, one of a tribe. And they prepared and went into the mountain, and came to the valley of Eshcol, and searched it out. And they took of the fruit of the land in their hands, and brought it down to us, and brought us word again, and said, it is good land which he that causes to exist our power will give us. Notwithstanding, you would not go up, but rebelled against the commandment of he that causes to exist your power. And you complained in your tents. So they complained in their tents. They didn't complain amongst each other, but they complained when they was in their houses secretly. So the Most High got pissed off about their secret complaints in behind closed doors. So think about all these people be saying all what they're not going to do and what they know is this and that and all those other things when it comes to these different laws, just so arrogantly and blatantly. But they be swearing up and down that they're increased, they're blessed, they're the Most High is following this and that. But they arrogantly say what they are and what they're not going to do when it comes to this law. And you complained in your tents and said, because he that causes to exist hated us. He has brought us out of the land of Egypt to hand us over to the armory to destroy us. What is going to happen to us? Our brethren have discouraged our hearts, saying, the people are greater and taller than we. The cities are great and walled up to Shemaim. And moreover, we have seen the sons of the Anakim there. So so right here, they're saying that the people are greater and taller than we, because Israel really wasn't a tall people. The men of Israel really weren't tall, they were really short. The tallest tribe was the tribe of Benjamin, and they were also left-handed. Okay? So if you look at it when it comes into it, what do they say? We were like grasshoppers, What does he say right here? The people are greater and taller than we. So Israel was a short people. So keep that in mind. So you see all these Negroes that are tall walking around here. If they're not Benjamites, then the chances are they could not be Israel. Israel was not a very tall people. Verse 29. Then I said to you, do not be terrified, neither be afraid of them. He that causes to exist your power, who goes before you, he shall fight for you, according to all that he did for you in Mizraim, before your eyes. Verse 31. And in the wilderness, where you had seen how he that causes to exist your power bore you, as a man will bear his son, in all the way that you went until you came into this place. Yet in this thing you did not believe he that causes to exist your power, who went in the way before you to search you out a place to pitch your tents in fire by night, to show you by what way you should go, and a cloud by day. And when he that causes to exist heard this, he was angry, and took an oath, saying, surely there shall not one of these men of this evil generation see that good land which I swore to give to their fathers, except Caleb, the son of Yephuniah. And he shall see it, and to him will I give the land that he has set his foot upon, and to his children, because he has completely followed he that causes to exist. Did he halfway do it? No, he completely followed he that causes to exist. Now, Caleb, he was from the tribe of Judah. Therefore, he enters the land first. This is the sign of Judah, who will inherit the land. The order is important. Yehuda is mentioned first, showing us Yehuda will enter the land first, followed by Ephraim. Yehoshua, the son of Nun, was from the tribe of Ephraim. This happened with a small group of Yehuda entering to live in Israel in the 1960s. The people of Dimona. Shout out to our brothers and sisters in Dimona. The sign for Ephraim, was Joshua, the son of Nun, because he was from the tribe of Ephraim. Also, he that causes to resist was angry with me for your sake, saying, you also shall not go in there. But Yehoshua the son of Nun, which stands before you, he shall go in there. Encourage him, for he shall cause Israel to inherit it. Right? And so that this is the sign for Ephraim and his inheritance yet to come. Right? Verse 39. Moreover, your children, which you said would die on the way, and your children, which in that day had no knowledge between good and evil, they shall go in there, and to them will I give it, and they shall possess it. And this is why I say that it will be our children's children that will most likely go back into the land. It most likely will not be us. So it most likely will be our children. That's why it's important that you teach your children now, and that they may teach their children, so that if that is the case, that your great grandchildren or your children can enter into the land and rebuild the land. Okay. But as for you, turn back and take your journey into the wilderness by the way of the Sea of Reeds. Then you answered and said to me, we have transgressed against he that causes to exist. We will go up and fight according to all that he that causes to exist our power commanded us. And when you had girded on every man his weapons of war, you were ready to go up to the hill. And he that causes to exist said to me, say to them, do not go up, neither fight, for I am not with you, as you will be defeated. So I spoke to you, and you would not hear, but rebelled against the commandment of he that causes to exist, and you went up proudly into the mountain. Right? So this is more proof that the Canaanites of the plain that they didn't take. It was the Canaanites of the mountains that they were fighting against, and they were able to subdue and remove. Right? So they went proudly into the mountain to war, even though Moses told them not to go, and that the Most High was not with them. They didn't care. And the armory which dwelt in that mountain came out against you and chased you as bees do, and drove you back in Seir, even to Hormah. Right? So the armory which dwelt in that mountain, right? This is the present site of Jerusalem. The current Jerusalem that you see as a tourist attraction is not the real Jerusalem. All right. Right here, what it's speaking of the Jerusalem of the Yabusi, which King David captured and built a city and dwelt therein. It says Jerusalem is surrounded by mountains. So please note that there are two Jerusalems, one of the Amorites and one of the Jebusites, as can be seen here, right? The other one is in Joshua chapter 10, verse 5, right? The two Jerusalems. All right, so this is the one of the Amori, and the one that King David took was the one of the Yabusi, okay? So this was the Amori, the one of the Amori in the mountain, and the one of the Yabusi, the Jebusites, was in the plains. Verse 45. And you can go to Joshua 10 and 5 to see the second Jerusalem, Jerusalem, okay? Verse 45. And you returned and wept before he that causes to exist, but he that causes to exist would not listen to your voice, nor give any attention to you. So you stayed in Kadesh many days, according to the days that you stayed there. All right, so we're gonna go to chapter 2. Chapter 2, verse 1. Then we turned and set out for our journey into the wilderness by the way of the Sea of Reeds, as he that causes to exist instructed me. And we went around Mount Seir many days. And he that causes to exist spoke to me, saying, you have gone around this mountain long enough. Now turn northward. So many days they were just traveling in circles around Mount Seir. All right. And the Most High said that they had gone around this mountain long enough now for them to turn and go north. So they turned northward from Mount Seir, right? So they entered the land to come down. They went to the north to come down to through the land of Canaan from the north, right? Now, verse 4. And commanded verse 3, you have gone around this mountain long enough. Now turn northward and command the people, saying,
You are to pass through the coast of your brethren, the children of Esau, which dwell in Seir, and they shall be afraid of you. Take good heed to yourselves, therefore. Meddle not with them, for I will not give you any of their land, not so much as a footbreadth, because I have given Mount Seir to Esau for a possession. And you can see this right here in Deuteronomy chapter 23, verses 5 and 6. Verse 6. You shall buy food from them for money, that you may eat, and you shall also buy water from them for money, that you may drink. So the Most High told them, don't take anything, but buy it. Okay? For the Most High your power has increased you in all the works of your hand. He knows you're walking through this great wilderness these 40 years. He that causes to resist your power has been with you. You have lacked nothing. Verse 8. And when we passed by from our brethren, the children of Esau, which dwelt in Seir, through the way of the plain from Eliat and from Etzon Gibber, we turned and passed by the way of the wilderness of Moab. And he that causes to resist said to me, Do not harass the Moabite, neither provoke them to war, for I will not give you of their land for a possession, because I have given Ar to the children of Lot for a possession. The Enim dwelt there in times past, a people great and many and tall as the Anakim. Right? So the Rephaites are a people who are very tall like giants. King Og was also from the same race. Right? Go to Debarim chapter 3 verse 11, which we're about to come up to in a minute. Right? He was of the same race of the Rephaim. Now, let's see here. In verse 7, where it says that, For he that causes to resist your power has increased you in all the works of your hands. He knows nothing you're walking through this great wilderness these 40 years. He knows of your walking through this great wilderness these 40 years. He that causes to resist your power has been with you. You have lacked nothing. There is a scribal gap between in verse 8, right? This is a pause to show us what follows, right? So there's a pause in between you have lacked nothing and these 40 years the Most High your power has been with you. Right there's a pause. So that pause right there is to make you to reflect on those 40 years and how the Most High was with us and how he provided us quail, food, water, and shelter, and how our clothes and sandals never did wear out, and our teeth stayed white, and how he protected us on each side. Okay, and that's why he's a pause there, and then he goes on to say that you have lacked nothing. Okay, there's an emphasis on that. So it's like a father emphasizing to his children who are pouting over something, to emphasize, haven't I always taken care of you? Have you ever lacked anything while you have been with me? Etc. Okay, so that's why that pause there is to emphasize on that right there. So I wanted to come back and touch bases on that. Okay, so come back to verse 12. And we'll hear in verse 12. The Horeb also dwelt in Seir before time, but the children of Esau succeeded them, and the Horeb are the Horites, when they had destroyed them from before them and dwelt in their stead. And the Horites are Hamites as well. Okay, they are Hamites as well, and Abraham did have some dealings with the Horites. Okay, and it's just proof to say that Sarai was an African princess from the Sarai tribe, which were Horites, or Horites that dwelt in Ur of the Chaldees. Okay, so there's a lot of proof of that as well. All right, so when we'll read back in verse 12. The Horeb also dwelt in Seir before time, but the children of Esau succeeded them, when they had destroyed them from before them, and dwelt in their stead, as Israel did in the land of this possession, before he that causes to resist gave to them. Now rise up, said I, and get you over the Wadi Zered. And we went over the Wadi Zered. And in the space in which we came from Kadesh Barnea until we came over the Wadi Zered was 38 years, until all the generation of the men of war had wasted out from among the host, from among the army, as they caused us to resist had sworn to them. For indeed,
The hand of he that causes to exist was against them to destroy them from among the army, among the host, until they were consumed. So it came to pass when all the men of war were consumed and dead among the people, that he that causes to exist spoke to me, saying, Today you are going to cross the border of Moab. That is Ar, right? Ar was a Moabite city on the Arnon River, due east of the Dead Sea. Okay, so dead east of the Dead Sea was the city of Ar, and it was on the Arnon River, which is where it gets its name from. Verse 19. And when you came near over against the children of Ammon to contend with them, nor meddle with them. For I will not give you, do not contend with them, nor meddle with them. For I will not give you the land of the children of Ammon as a possession, because I have given it to the children of Lot for a possession. That also was accounted a land of giants. Giants dwelt therein in old time, and the Ammonim called them Zamzumim. Right? Zamzumim. A people great and many and tall as the Anakim. But he that caused to exist destroyed them before them, and they succeeded them and dwelt in their stead. Right? So the children of Ammon destroyed the Zamzumin, or the giants that were in the land before they took possession of it. Okay, and then the Most High said that he gave that possession for Lot. And as he did, and dwelt in their stead, verse 22, as he did to the children of Esau which dwelt in Seir, when he had destroyed the Kori from before him, and they succeeded him and dwelt in their stead even to this day. Right? The Kori was another race of giants that Esau destroyed. And the Avim which dwelt in Hazarim, even to Azah, the Caphtorim, which came forth out of Caphtor, destroyed them and dwelt in their stead. Get up, take your journey, and pass over the river Arnon. Behold, I have given into your hand Sihon the Amori, sovereign of Heshbon, and his land. Begin to possess it and engage him for war. Verse 25. This day will I begin to put the dread of you and the fear of you upon the nations that are under the whole Shamayim, who shall hear report of you and shall shiver and shake because of you. And I sent messengers out of the wilderness to Kedethmoth, to Sihon, sovereign of Heshbon, with words of shalom, saying, Let me pass through your land. I will go along by the highway. I will neither turn to the right nor to the left. You shall sell me food for money that I may eat, and give me water for money that I may drink. Only I will pass through on my feet, as the children of Esau which dwelt in Seir, and the Moabite which dwelt in Ar did to me, until I shall pass over Jordan into the land which he that causes to exist your power gives us. So this right here is proof that the Esau and the Moabites, they showed us love. They didn't try to fight us. They allowed us to buy food, allowed us to buy water. Okay? They didn't try to fight us. This is why you're not to hate them, or not to be mean to a Moabite or to an Edomite. But Sihon, sovereign of Heshbon, will not let us pass by him. For he that causes to exist your power hardened his ruach, hardened his spirit, and made his heart abstinent, made his mind abstinent, that he might give him into your hand to this very day. And he that causes to exist said to me, Behold, I have begun to give Sihon and his land before you. Begin to possess it, that you may inherit his land. Then Sihon came out against us, he and all his people, to fight at Yatzah. And he that causes to exist our power handed him before us, and we struck him down with his sons and all his people. So Sihon and his sons were killed. So there was nobody else there. All his princes were destroyed. All right. Let's see here. Verse 35. Only the cattle we took for a plunder to ourselves, and the spirit of the cities which we took from Arar, which is by the brink of the river of Arnon, and from the city that is by the river, even to Gilead. There was not one city too strong for us, for he that caused to resist our power gave all to us. only to the land of the children of Ammon you came not, nor to any place of the river Yabok, nor to the cities in the mountains, or wherever he that causes to resist our power had forbidden us. So they didn't go anywhere where the Most High told them not to go. They only went to where the Most High told them to do, because they did not want to disobey like their forefathers did, okay? Chapter 3, Deuteronomy chapter 3. Okay, we're going to read this chapter all the way down to 22. Then we're going to go to the Haftorah, which is Yeshayahu, Isaiah chapter 1, verses 1 through 27. Chapter 1. So chapter 3 of Deuteronomy. Then he turned and went up the way to Bashan, and Og, the sovereign of Bashan, came out against us, he and all his people, to do battle at Edrei. Right? So Og, the large kaf, signifies the picture of a sling in the ancient Hebrew script. Therefore, this shows Sihon being struck down through the power of he that causes to exist. Verse 2. That was a little side commentary that I have for you. So verse 2. And he that causes to exist said to me, fear him not, for I will give him and all his people and his land into your hand. And you shall do to him as you did to Sihon, king of the Amori, which dwelled in Heshbon. So he that causes to resist our power gave into our hands Og also, the sovereign of Bashan, and all his people, and we struck him down until not a single survivor was left. And we took all of his cities at that time. There was not a city which we took not from them. 60 cities, all the region of Argob, the kingdom of Og in Bashan. See here. Verse 5. All these cities were fenced with high walls, gates, and bars, besides unwalled towns in a great many. So all these cities were fenced with high walls, gates, and bars, besides the unwalled towns a great many. And we utterly destroyed them as we did the Sihon, sovereign of Heshbon, utterly destroying the men, women, and children of every city. So they killed everybody. So the kingdom of Og and of Sihon, they killed everybody, man, woman, and child. Okay? Because the Most High instructed them. But all the cattle and the spoil of the cities we took for a prey to ourselves. And we took at that time out of the hand of the two sovereigns, the two kings of the Amori. So even Og was an Amorite. Right? So it makes you think about all these 7 foot, 8 foot tall people that you see in Africa, right? Amorites. And we took at that time out of the hand of the two sovereigns of the Amori, the hand that was on this side of Jordan, from the river of Arnon to Mount Hermon, which Hermon the Sidonian called Sirion, and the Amori called it Shinir. All the cities of the plain, and all Gilead, and all Bashan, to Salcah and Edrei, cities of the kingdom of Og in Bashan. For only Og, sovereign of Bashan, remained of the remnant of giants. Behold, his sarcophagus was made of iron. Is it not in Rabbath of the children of Ammon? 9 cubits was the length there, and 4 cubits the breadth of, after the cubit of a man. So King Og was his sarcophagus was 13.5 feet long by 6 feet wide. Og was believed to be a 13-foot tall giant. Okay. Now, when you go back to here and it says the kingdoms of Bashan, as you see there, the transgression is raised for the word of bed. This reveals his large bed was seen as a symbol of power by the people around him, since he was a great giant. So the raising of the letter transgression reveals his brightness or esteem that he was known to be taken away, and that comes in the writing of the language. Okay, that's why I'm side note that I'm telling you. Verse 12. In this land which we possessed at that time from Auror, which is by the river Arnon, and half Mount Gilead, and the cities there, gave I to the Reubeni and to the Gadi.
to the Gadi, and all Bashan, being the kingdom of Og, gave I to the half tribe of Manasseh, all the region of Argob, with all Bashan, which is called the land of the giants. Yair, the son of Manasseh, took all the country of Argob to the coast of Geshuri and Ma'akti, and called them after his own name, Bashan Havach Yair, to this day. And I gave Gilead to Machir, and to the Rubani and to the Gadi I gave from Gilead even to the river Anan, half the valley, and the border even to the river Yabak, which is the border of the children of Ammon. The plain also, and Jordan, and the coast there from Hinnereth even to the sea of the plain, even the salt sea under Asda Pisgah eastward. And I commanded you at that time, saying, He that causes to resist your power has given you this land to possess it. You shall pass over armed before your brethren, the children of Israel, all that are meet for war. But your wives and your little ones and your cattle, for I know that you have much cattle, shall abide in your cities which I have given you, until he that causes to resist your power has given victory to your brethren as well as to you, and until they also possess the land which he that causes to resist your power has given them beyond Jordan, and then shall you return every man to his possession, which I have given you. And I commanded Yehoshua at that time, saying, Your eyes have seen all that he that causes to resist your power has done to these two kings. So shall he that causes to resist do to all your kingdoms where you are going. You shall not fear them, for he that causes to resist your power, he shall fight for you. All right, hold on. I'm sorry, you guys. Hold on. Let me call you back. I'm doing a video for the Shabbat. You made it to your mom's house? You made it to your mom's house?
Yeah, last night, but in the midnight, I'm at a restaurant. I want to get what to eat.
All right, let me call you back. Let me call you back. Let me call you back.
What are you doing?
I'm recording. Let me call you back.
What?
All right, sorry about that, y'all. My lady had made it to tell her I'm recording. She can't hear me. That was my one of my wives in Africa that was letting me know that she made it to her mom's house. It's a 6-hour difference, so it's Shabbat's over with over there for them. So she was calling, letting me know that she made it to her mom's house. So, all right. So now we're gonna go to Yeshayahu, chapter 1, verses 1 through 27. Okay. Yeshayahu, Isaiah, chapter 1, verses 1 through 27. The vision of Isaiah, the son of Amoz, which he saw concerning Yehuda and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Uthaim, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, sovereigns of Yehuda. Right? So who was Amaz? Amaz was the father of Isaiah the prophet, and Amaziah, the Judean king, were brothers. Right? That's Sotah 10b. Verse 2. Go here, get this to Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 2. Hear, O Shemaim, and give ear, O earth, O Eretz, for he that causes to resist has spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. The ox knows his owner, and the donkey his master's crib. But Israel does not know, my people does not consider. Ah, sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers. Children that are corrupters, they have forsaken he that causes to resist. They have provoked the set apart one of Israel to anger. They are gone away backward. Why should you be stricken anymore? Why should you be stricken anymore? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart weary. From the sole of the feet,
even to the head there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. Your country is desolate, your cities are burned with fire. Your land foreigners devour it in your presence, and it is desolate, as overthrown by foreigners. And the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage in a vineyard, as a lodge in a garden of cucumbers, as a besieged city. Right? The daughter of Zion. Right? So side note here. It's Jerusalem. So when it says the daughter of Zion, speaking about Jerusalem. Verse 9. Except he that causes to exist of armies had left us a very small remnant. We should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like Amorah, which is Gomorrah. Verse 10. Hear the word of he that causes to exist, you rulers of Sedom. Give ear to the Torah of our power, you people of Amorah. To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices to me, says he that causes to exist? I am full of the burnt offerings of rams, and the fat of fed feasts. And I delight not in the blood of bullocks, or of lambs, or of he-goats. When you come to appear before me, who has required this at your hand to tread my courts? Bring no more meaningless offerings. Your incense is an abomination to me. You observe the new months and Sabbaths, the calling of assemblies, but I cannot tolerate your transgression-stained celebrations. Your new months and your appointed feasts my soul hates. They are trouble to me. I am weary to bear them. So, commentary side note, he that causes to exist hated them simply because of the moral decline of the Hebrew nation. His appointed feasts were not celebrated from their hearts, but the purpose had been changed. The people, like Jeroboam, started his own new feast and put his own version of the priesthood in place in the north of Israel with a temple to rival Jerusalem. Likewise, Christendom and Hebrew Israelite Christendom has started their own new feasts such as Easter, Ash Wednesday, and Christmas. These are all Christendom feasts, and he that causes to exist wants nothing to do with them, because they despise he that causes to exist true feasts and refuse to celebrate them with a true heart and with true intent and purpose. All right. Verse 15. And when you spread forth your hands, I will hide my face from you. Another proof right there that you spread forth your hands. You don't close your hands together in a shark fin. And when you spread forth your hands, I will hide my eyes from you. Yes, when you make your petitioners, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood. As with some ancient kings of Israel who were lawless, so is Christianity and Catholicism today, who have shed innocent blood of black Hebrew people, enslaved them, and are guilty of many transgressions that their foolish practices will not take away without any proper restitution and reparations paid back to the black Hebrew people. Verse 16. Wash yourself, make yourself clean, mikvah. Put away your evil of your doings from before my eyes. Cease to do evil. Learn to do well, Torah. Seek right ruling, Torah. The only way one can seek right ruling is with the Torah. Since Christendom and Islam has decided it is not for them, then no right ruling can come from their leaders. Relieve the oppressed. Judge the fatherless. We can, right? So when it says, what does it mean by judge the fatherless? We can only help the orphans by rescuing them from poverty and taking them in as sons and daughters. That is required. And plead for the widow. What does it mean by plead for the widow? Through plural marriage, we can rescue the widows, and not with donations, as they do not change people's lives, but a right ruling husband can take the widow and give her a covering, willing to help them as he supports the household. Verse 18. Come now and let us reason together, says he that causes to exist. Through your transgressions be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. Right? So what does he mean by be as wool? He that causes to exist is willing to trade of the transgressions if their hearts are straight. In the Hebrew traditions, the following is recorded. Rabbi Naaman ben Isaac said it was the tongue of the scarlet, as it has been taught. Originally, they used to fasten the thread of scarlet on the door of the temple court on the outside. If it turned white, the people used to rejoice, and if it did not turn white, they were sad. They therefore made a rule that it should be fastened to the door of the court on the inside. On the inside, people, however, still peeped in and saw, and if it turned white, they rejoiced, and if it did not turn white, they were sad. They therefore made a rule that half of it should be fastened to the rock, and half between the horns of the goat that was sent to the wilderness. If you assume it was Rabbi Yohanan b. Zakkai who made the rule, was there in the days of Rabbi Zakkai a thread of scarlet which turned white? Has it not been taught Rabbi Zakkai lived altogether 120 years? For 40 years he was in business, 40 years he studied, and 40 years he taught. And it was further been taught for 40 years before the destruction of the temple, the thread of the scarlet never turned white, but it remained red. Further, the statement of the Mishnah is, after the destruction of the temple, Rabbi Yohanan Zakkai made a rule. What says the other? During the 40 years he studied, his status was that of a disciple sitting before his teacher, and he would offer a suggestion and make good his reasons. Right? So, back up here to verse 18. Come now, let us reason together, says he that causes to exist. Through transgressions be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be as red like crimson, they shall be as wool. And now what that commentary that I just read to you, right? That's where they got that from, verse 18, and where it says that, where it talks about the commentary on Rabbi Zakkai and the wool, and if it turned white, they rejoice because that means that the Most High have forgiven their transgressions. If it stayed red, they were sad. And this was done by Rabbi Zakkai before the temple was destroyed. Okay, so I read that commentary. I'll read the commentary again to you. He that causes to exist is willing to trade for their transgressions if their hearts are straight. In the Hebrew traditions, the following are recorded. Rabbi Naaman ben Isaac said it was the tongue of scarlet, as it has been taught. Originally, they used to fasten the thread of scarlet on the door of the temple court on the outside. So Rabbi Isaac said that this is what they used to do, to tradition, on the outside. If it turned white, the people used to rejoice, and if it did not turn white, they were sad. They therefore made a rule that it should be fastened to the door of the court on the inside. People, however, still peeped in and saw, and if it turned white, they rejoiced, and if it did not turn white, they were sad. They therefore made a rule that half of it should be fastened to the rock and half between the horns of the goat that was sent into the wilderness, right, for the Day of Atonement. If you assume it was Rabbi Yohanan ben Zakkai who made the rule, was there in the days of Rabbi Zakkai a thread of scarlet which turned white? Has it not been taught that Rabbi Zakkai lived altogether 120 years? For 40 years he was in business, 40 years he studied, and 40 years he taught. It has further been taught, for 40 years before the destruction of the temple, the thread of scarlet never turned white, but it remained red. Further, the statement of the Mishnah is, after the destruction of the temple, Rabbi Zakkai made a rule. What says the other? During those 40 years that he studied, his status was that of a disciple sitting before his teacher, and he would offer a suggestion and make good his reasonings. Right? So we'll go to verse 19. If you be willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. Right? So if you be willing and obedient, what does he mean by obedient? and willing, if you are willing to keep the Torah and obedient to the Torah. Verse 20. But if you refuse and rebel, you shall be devoured with the sword, for the mouth of he that causes to exist has spoken it. How is this trustworthy city become a harlot? And what does he mean by that? Jerusalem had become corrupted. It was corrupted. It was full of right ruling. Right ruling lodged in it, but now murderers. Your silver has become dross, your wine mixed with water. Your princes are rebellious and companions of thieves. Everyone loves gifts and follows after rewards. They judge not the fatherless, neither does the cause of the widow come to them. So when it says judge not the fatherless, they judge not the fatherless. In other words, they are not taking in the fatherless children. Okay? They are not, in other words, i.e. adopting them. When it says the widows, they're not marrying them, protecting them. Okay? Doesn't mean give them money. Doesn't mean, charity. It means by marrying them. Okay? Verse 24. Therefore says Master he that causes to exist of armies, the mighty one of Israel. I will ease me of my adversaries and avenge me of my enemies. So the Most High sees you as an enemy if you're not doing any of these things and you have knowledge of these things, okay? So if you're not willing to take in your brother's kids or your deceased family members' kids, the Most High is not having no favor on you. If you're not willing to take on an additional wife that's a widow, a legitimate widow, the Most High is not having no favor on you. All you women that's hating poly and all this other kind of stuff. Therefore says the Master he that causes to exist of armies, the mighty one of Israel. I will ease me of my adversaries and avenge me of my enemies. And I will turn my hand upon you and surely purge away your dross and take away all your slag. Right? What is slag? Slag is the substance that is left after metals are refined. The same with crude oil. That's all. Remember that verse, I will refine you as silver is refined and gold is gold, etc. He's telling you right there, he's telling you again. Verse 26. And I will restore your judges as at the first, and your counselors as at the beginning. Afterward you shall be called the city of right ruling, the trustworthy city. And Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and those that repent with Zedekiah. What is Zedekiah? Justice. And the destruction of the transgressors and of the transgressors shall be together. And they that forsake he that causes to exist shall be consumed. For they shall be ashamed of the set apart trees which you have desired, and you shall be ashamed for the set apart orchards you have chosen. For you shall be as a tree, aretz, whose leaf wither, and as an orchard that has no water. And the strong shall be as a thread of yarn, and the maker of it as a spark, and they shall both burn together. None shall quench them. Read it again. Therefore it says, Master he that causes to exist of armies, the mighty one of Israel. I will ease me of my adversaries and avenge me of my enemies. And I will turn my hand upon you and purely purge away your dross and take away all your slag. And I will restore your judges as at the first, and your counselors as at the beginning. They didn't have no Yahshua. They didn't have no Jesus. They didn't have no New Testament. Afterward you shall be called the city of right ruling, the trustworthy city. Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and those that repent with Zedekiah. That would be all for today's Torah Parsha lesson. Okay? It was Deuteronomy chapters 1 through chapter 3 in 3 and 22 or 25. in Yeshayahu chapter 1 verses 1 through 27. Now I want you guys to meditate on this, okay? Think back on it, especially the last little couple of verses of Yeshayahu. He will avenge himself of his enemies and those that pushed him to the side. He's going to seek vengeance. He will get his vengeance. Okay, he will punish them. So meditate on that, man. Play it back over again. Listen, meditate on the Torah. May your children be chosen to build the kingdom and to restore the kingdom. May you have good health and a sound mind. May the Most High increase you in the works of your hands. All praises to the Most High, for he is worthy to be praised. He is worthy to have his name be magnified. Let his name be magnified throughout the earth. All praises to the Most High, Baruch Hashem. He that causes to exist, the Elohai of Yaakubah, the Elohai of Abraham, the Elohai of Israel, the Elohai of Moses, Moshe, and the Elohai of Yeshayahu, the Elohai of Zedekiah, Hezekiah, and Dawood and Shlomo. All praises to the Most High. Israel, may you be increased in health and in wisdom and in knowledge and in finances. May the Most High bless you and increase you. Baruch Hashem. Shabbat Shalom.